So I was posting on my page earlier as I was coming out of traffic court this morning. Literally my whole life flashed before my eyes, okay? A car came squealing around the corner, past the court, past the police station. I could see it in the rear view, and it's coming, okay? And next thing, there's two sheriffs in hot pursuit of this. They come screaming past me. This very busy street downtown. These people are hanging out of the car with their arms flailing out the window. I had never seen any shit like that before. I know it goes on probably all the time, but it scared the hell out of me. I thought, when I saw that car in the rear view, and I realized, and I heard the sirens, and I saw how they were driving, I thought, oh my God, one swerve and I'm gone. Because I think about this stuff all the time. People that run from the police that are in these high-speed pursuits, a lot of times they lose control of their vehicles and they kill innocent people. It was just terrifying. So that happened this morning. Ugh. But yeah, it got me to thinking, guys, about life. And soon I want to put out a video about depression and get into some of that with you guys. I think it might be helpful to others if I share. So I'm going to do that soon. And how it robs us of our life. How we can get stuck in depression, and some of us don't even know we're depressed. Some of us are so high functioning, we don't realize that's what's going on with us, that we're in shock, or mourning, or grieving, or depressed, in a depression. Sometimes for months, we don't realize that, but I'll get into that later. I just, yeah, that incident this morning freaked me out, it made me think about life, and how quickly it can all be gone. And I just want to say, I posted something yesterday talking about balance. It was a piece of writing, and how I just like to kind of clear the air on that. How I am not stuck on any one specific perspective. I am here for growth. I'm here for healing. And a lot of times, a lot of content creators really don't have a certain niche. They just create, they just talk, they just share. And a lot of them do it for their own healing purposes, because it's helping them to survive something. Tiffany Jenkins was talking about this the other day. She's a comedian. And, she was talking about how for the first few years, she was going through a transition period in her life. She said, I was overweight. I was miserable. I was going through anxiety and depression. I was stuck at home with my kids all day. And so I started creating content, and I was miserable. And my content was coming from a place of misery. And it was funny to people. They could relate to it. And it got me to thinking. And she talked about how, but this is years later. I have transformed. Now I'm doing different content. I've been to therapy for years. I've come through a lot of that hating myself, and I'm feeling better about myself. And she's like, a lot of people are giving me shit now that they don't like my content anymore, that they, and she's like, hey, people grow and change, and it really got me to thinking deeply about, and I posted about this, about balance and growth and healing and content creating, and how, it's like, I get it from viewers' perspective. As a viewer myself, I think about the people I follow and what I want to see, and I get it. It is good if you can have a specific niche and you can produce content for a specific audience, and you can provide that to them on a regular basis if that's what they want. And some people really sit down and think of it as a business like that. But there are other creators who they literally start doing it from a place of saving their own life. And it serves a purpose to help them get through a very hard time in their life. And then people find them and they start watching them for whatever reason, or their personality or their attitude or whatever the content might be. And then over time, those people are going to grow and change, and their content may grow and change too. And it's just one of those things. But, you know, it just got me to thinking about a lot of things about life, guys, and how it's true. How it can really be true. When we are in a certain miserable place, so many people, I guess, can relate to that. So many people are suffering and going through trouble, trials, and tribulations. And you know that saying, though, misery loves company? I think a lot of times there are a lot of people that are looking for someone to relate to. Yes. Okay. But have you guys noticed that, though? How a lot of times the masses, like the world, they eat it up if you're miserable, you know? You know, if you're breaking up with somebody, or you're sad, or you're depressed, or you're struggling, or you're down and out. But a lot of people aren't, you know, it could go both ways. A lot of people could care less. But I'm just saying, a lot of times the masses eat that shit up because you're relatable. But isn't it weird? And they're cheering you on, and you can do it, and oh, come on, you know, you're gonna make it. But isn't it weird? And I'm not saying everybody's this way, because I have had some wonderful people in my life in the past who, no matter what I had to come through, no matter what my choice was, they were supportive of me. And that was a beautiful thing. But on a mass scale, I'm just talking about the world in general. Isn't it weird how a lot of times, if you're not down in that damn dark hole, and you're not depressed and bitching and bashing and miserable and struggling, if you're up out of that hole and you're like, hey, I've been healing, I feel wonderful, I feel great today, I look good, I feel good, my relationship is in a good place, I feel deep love, I'm in love, or that's repairing. And no matter, you know, if you really kind of get on that wavelength, which I do a lot of times, because that is always my goal frequency. That's my normal frequency. Anything else that I put out is me trying to get through a certain time period, trying to get through certain issues that I've had to deal with, and share those things with other people who might have suffered similar things. But my top goal, my priority at all times, my default frequency is that high frequency, is that healing place, higher consciousness place, love place, forgiveness, understanding, connection. That's my place. Oh, always, always. That is always my goal, is to come full circle and end up there, you know? But along the way, I'm going to get angry. I'm going to get pissed when I start talking about certain issues, or, you know, sometimes I'll go into memories or events that happened in the past, and I will want to share some information about it, and it'll take me back there emotionally, and I'll have the attitude and the tone to go with it. Doesn't mean I'm going to stay there, though. You know? It doesn't mean I live there all the time. But yeah, guys, it is what it is. I mean, and I just think about life on a certain scale. The older we get, the more we think about it, the scarier it gets. It could all end just like that. And that's why I'm not playing anymore. That's why I don't care what other people think anymore. What my healing process is, what I need to do today, how I want to feel. I'm not getting stuck in any one little box, okay? We all have to do what's best for us, for our healing. I don't want to waste time. Anger serves a purpose. All of those things, they all serve a purpose. To get things up, get things identified, identify issues, get them out, get them resolved, share information about them, get them worked through, and get them over with. I don't like to stay in a little miserable place of bashing or negativity or constantly going on. I'm not going to get stuck in a little rut like that. Now, Everything we have suffered is valid. And we are all on different levels of that. Some people, you see what I'm saying? Some people are still in tragic or toxic or abusive situations right now. They haven't even separated or left that situation yet. Some people just got out. Some people have been out of that for 5 or 10 years. Some people have never been involved in anything. You see what I'm saying? Every person is on a different level of healing, growing, understanding all of these things. And you could line up, say, 5 people that have been in a toxic relationship in their past. Those 5 people are not all going to perceive their past relationship the exact same. One person may be mad as hell. Theirs was just horrific all the way around, day and night, never anything good. The next person, they may have been betrayed or abused in a different way. Maybe not as horrifically as the other person's toxic relationship. The third person may have been something totally different for them. And within each person, because I had a lady get mad at me the other day on YouTube. She sounded kind of out there because of the way I was describing narcissism from a psychological and just a more educational perspective. I wasn't talking about abuse. And something about it triggered her, I guess. And she was saying something like, well, if you can refer to it that loosely, then you must not have been through any type of abuse in your past, because you wouldn't be referring to it that loosely. You would know. And I just got to thinking, okay, whoa. Just because our story, our frame of reference on what happened to us in our situation was a certain way, it doesn't mean that everybody else's was. Doesn't mean that everybody else is going to jump on the same bandwagon that you're on. They're not, you see what I'm saying? She might be still in a different place of healing than where I am now. She may have had a completely different experience than what I had. And there are a lot of people out here that are still way too uninformed, way too undereducated on what narcissistic abuse really is and how there can be a lot of differences. And they're just assuming that all abuse is the same or all toxic relationships are the same. And they're trying to put one, because I suffered this, you have to as well. Because I went through, this was my damn experience of it, so I automatically assume it was yours too. And if you're not speaking about it in a hateful, nasty, awful, if you're not dealing with it and coping with it exactly like I do, then you must not have experienced what the hell ever. I don't deal with that level of ignorance. That is not what I'm out to do, and those are not the type of people that I will even waste my time worrying about or explaining anything to. But I just thought I would put that out there so that we can all have a general overall understanding. I respect everyone else's healing process. I respect where everyone is on their own personal journey in life. I cannot tell them what to feel, how quickly they need to be healing, how they need to feel, if they need to feel more angry or less angry, or more forgiving or less forgiving, or more loving or less loving. No, we don't do that. That is not for us to tell another human being. The word narcissist, the term narcissistic abuse, the term toxic relationship, they're not all the same. You don't know. No, you do not know what the next person went through. You don't know how they felt. You don't know all the ins and outs. We can't call those shots. And for me, guys, life is short. And I'll say this much. I will share information. If I take a mood and I want to make a video because I'm having I'm dredging up some things that I need to deal with, and I'm working through those things, and some ideas come to my mind that I might want to share with others from the past that I learned or went through, then that's what I do. But I will say this. My healing is, you know, it's really on me. It's up to me. And in my heart of hearts, yeah, I've had people in my past that I don't even give a second thought to anymore. That don't even exist to me anymore, really. But I also have people that are still very dear to me, that I have deep love in my heart for, even if they hurt me, even if they did the worst imaginable things. That's part of my learning. That's part of my growing. But I've also had to learn. I don't let those people have access to me. I don't throw myself under the bus for their approval. I've also learned to stop and check my own core wounds, that I am worthy of more than just constantly throwing myself under the bus for something that isn't working, for something that hurt me or betrayed me or isn't compatible with my frequency or lifestyle, that isn't going to be good for me anymore. Those were the limits and boundaries I needed to learn. And I had to get deep within myself and go through some more things to really see it, to really get to that point where I could feel worthy enough, where I could feel strong enough to go, you know what? Deep love or not, I'm going to let that go. I'm going to let that go if it's taking my value under, if it's draining me, if it's messing up my life. So, you get what I'm saying, guys? But I just don't like getting stuck in any one box, because I have a lot of mixed emotions and a lot of different layers and feelings at once. And some people have had relationships like that in the past, where it's very complex. There is no one way to just sum it all up, because I felt all of those things at once, and all of the things I felt were legitimate. They were all valid. You know, it's different strokes for different folks. I have had situations in the past where I could sum it up with one word. It was just that simple. That was that. That's it. But some relationships are not that simple. And I did have one situation in the past that was extremely complex. Every dynamic, it was out of my entire lifetime, the one relationship that had about 50 different dynamics going on at one time. Yes, and it was never all good or all bad. Some people like to sum up toxic relationships like that. Or just because there were a lot of toxic dynamics, they like to sum it up as all bad. Nope. Wasn't like that. There were things on a higher level that I was learning and feeling and growing from and connecting to. We both were. But sometimes people just aren't ready. Sometimes people are on two different emotional maturity levels. And if you're going through that and you're on different frequencies, it's really hard to stay together. It's really hard to stay compatible and continue growing. And unless you want to sacrifice yourself and stay stagnant in your mental, emotional, and spiritual growth and give it up and sacrifice yourself, then you have to let it go. Sometimes that's just the way it is, guys. But that's all I wanted to say, is that I'm not about getting stuck in one negative vibration. Now, when I'm angry, I'm angry. When I'm in that mood, or when I need to share that energy or give off some of that information, then that's what I do. I use it, it's useful, I get it off of me, and I come full circle. Do I want to carry on into eternity? No, it's really not about sitting up, getting too stuck in, even though all of our pain, all of our suffering, anything that was inflicted upon us is valid. And however long you need to take to work on it, to feel it, to come through it. You can't just snap your fingers and be over something overnight. Take your time. That is on those people, however long they need to work on it. But I'm saying that is not all I'm about. I have a lot of different, feelings about certain things. A lot of times I just share things to be informational. And sometimes I do get emotional about it. But all in all, I want people to know that. I feel it would be ignorant of me to take life for granted in that way. That scares me. I don't like to do that. And pretty soon I'm going to talk about depression and how what a struggle and a fight that is, because it robs so many people of their time, their energy, and their good life, you know. And so if it's at all possible with me and the people in my life, no matter what the fuck they did to me, even though I may have to do that number right there, for the most part, if it meant enough to me and I shared time with that person, I want to clear the air on that. Narcissistic or not, mistakes or not, whatever the case. No, I may not want them back in my life. No, I may not be able to let people all up in my space. I may have to keep going and protect myself in a certain way. Not everybody's case is going to be the same. Okay? Not everybody's story is going to be the same. Some people, you know, you have to do what you have to do. But for me, I just think about that on a deep level, man, because it could all go just like that. And I think about those things like, did you really say what you wanted to say? Did you really share what was in your heart? Is that really how you felt? You know, because the highly narcissistic people, they lock up. And a lot of them will go to their graves unable to be vulnerable with all the thoughts and feelings that they may have had. And yes, depending on how high a person is on the narcissistic spectrum or what's up with them, they do have feelings. They just don't like to access those feelings. They don't like to deal with those feelings. They don't identify and comprehend and work through and all of the complex emotions that, you know, we can. They don't like to get emotionally deep. They like to stay on the surface, bouncing around, having a good time, checking out, ignoring and denying everything, okay? But that very defense right there, the fact that they go to those great lengths is duh. That is a sign that yes, they have feelings. Yes, they have emotions in there. But those things are so deeply protected. They are so far removed from feeling it all. Really feeling it and knowing what it all, you know what I mean? It's different than us. But yes, they have feelings. Yes, they have emotions. And I don't want to be like that, though. I do not want to live out my life like that. So that's why I try to put a balance on that shit when I feel myself getting too, nope, I don't feel that. No, I'm just tough. Nope, I'm just going to stay pissed. Nope, you know, that kind of thing. No, I'm not going to feel love. No, I'm not going to express vulnerability. I was hurt and betrayed and I can't trust and I was stomped on and, well, I was sometimes. But I work to get above that, okay? I don't want to be like them. I don't want to regress backwards into emotional immaturity where I'm afraid all the time to feel what I actually and truthfully feel, because I got to protect myself because, well, they hurt me and so I can't show that I love them, or I can't express this feeling or that feeling because people will laugh at me, or they will all say that I need to be tougher than that, or just be real. What is authentic right now? What is genuine right now? What do you feel? And it may be 4 or 5 things. It might be several different things at once. And guess what? I need to let you know it's all valid. You don't have to pick one or the other. You don't have to, I have to hate somebody or love somebody all the way. It's either all or nothing, or I have to be on this side or that side. No, you don't have to choose. All of those feelings are human. They are valid. And it is okay to have them and feel them. Take your time to process them. And it's okay to feel love in your heart for somebody that hurt you. It happens. We're human. Just because, you know, well, I need to be tough and I need to protect myself. And yeah, do that. Do that, absolutely. But it's okay to have complicated feelings. You know, a lot of times we're ashamed of that. Well, what's everybody else going to say? What's everybody else going to think of me? Everybody else doesn't have to walk in your damn shoes. Everybody else doesn't have to live your life. And at the end of the day, whatever happens to those people in your life, whatever happens to you, they're not going to have to live with it. They're not going to have to live with the thoughts and the feelings and the grief and the guilt or whatever comes upon you. So, always do what's in your heart. Always do what's best for you, no matter what. Okay? And I just want to put that out there. I think about things like that. Ultimately, that is where I am at. I am not about going into eternity on a negative, angry, complaining, bashing scale like that. That is really not what it's about. But those types of moods and that type of information is necessary sometimes to spread awareness and to educate ourselves. It's just necessary. But you know, I don't get too stuck in, well, the narcissist does this, and the narcissist gets to supply this, and then they do this, and then this happens over here, and then they do this shit. Yes, learning all that stuff, psychology has always fascinated me. It is a passion for me. But I'm not getting stuck in it in a negative way, in a, you know, where it's, if it starts triggering or getting too negative, I get out of that. You know, I don't like to stay there. But the mechanics of all that fascinates me, the knowledge of it, the learning process of it. I've always loved psychology and understanding all the little components of people's minds and what makes them act the way they do, what drives that, why do they operate like that, you know, and understanding people's life stories and different things like that. So it is what it is, guys. But ultimately, with anything that happens to me in my life, I want to find peace with it. You know, if you look it up, there are stages of grief. There are stages of things in life. Anger, bargaining, this, that, the other. And then at the end, there's always a coming to terms with it and acceptance. And maybe forgiveness, maybe not. Maybe peace, healing, maybe not. But you get what I'm saying. Things, the healing process for anything goes kind of in stages. And I don't know. A lot of times, other people is so weird. They'll want you to stay stuck there. People will say, oh, we're rooting for you. We want you to heal. We want you to feel better. But the minute you do, the minute you are healing and you're really feeling great, and that's what you want to share, and you're doing different creative things, and you're happy again, and you're in love, or you're loving, you've worked out your relationship issues, and you're really in a good place, the minute you're there, certain people start hating on that shit. They don't like it. Ah, fuck that, and that makes me want to vomit. Why are people not supportive of people that are in their healing energy and doing well? You know, and it's only certain types of people. But that's because we have to get more open-minded than that. We have to realize that even if we are not as healed as they are yet, we still need to be happy for them. There's no point in hating on them. But that's what it is. That's what it is. Those people are not, they have not done the work yet, or they haven't gotten to whatever level you're on yet. They haven't perhaps put out all the energy and gone to therapy and done all the things, or, you know, everybody moves at a different pace. And that's a lot of times what it is. They're not where you are yet. And it's not right for them to hate on other people. They need to be focused on their work instead of hating on other people. If they were more focused on their work, they wouldn't feel that way. Nope. If they were more focused on their own healing, they would not feel hatred and jealousy towards another person's happiness, towards another person getting up out of their struggle, because that's our goal. We need to let that be known. We're not always going to be that way. We're not always going to be in that damn struggle. We're not always going to be in that energy. Life is too short for that, you guys. Hell no. Life is too short for that. I'm all about coming full circle, staying on my boundaries though, being fierce if I have to be, not taking any shit. I'm not going to be disrespected. I'm not going back down those roads. But at the same time, I'm all about love, baby. All about love and forgiveness. And if I shared time with a person, my heart, I never want harm to come to those people. I just can't bring myself to feel that way. I don't like to be vindictive. I don't like to be spiteful. I don't like that shit. Now, I'm human. Does my own emotional maturity slip sometimes? Hell to the yeah. And I just can't handle it. For a split second I fire back or I fucking think a thought. Yes, it happens. Because I'm human and I may fire off some shit. But granted, I'm going to come full circle later. I'm going to start thinking about it, working through that. And 9 times out of 10, no, I'm going to back off of that and go, I wish those people the best. I'm going about my own business. It is what it is, you know. But life is too short. I don't ever want to leave off the impression that I'm trying to spread hatred and perpetuate a constant state of bashing. No. I'm trying to share knowledge and awareness to help people, to help them see whatever their situation might be, to help them open their eyes and their mind to certain things and find their own way along their own healing journeys. Do whatever they need to do. I'm all for it. If people can work things out, I'm all for that. You know, I don't hate on people when they're in the good, when they're in love, when they're doing well. That that inspires the shit out of me. Love it. I don't ever take a day for granted, you guys. I don't ever take a day for granted. I just don't do it. I don't want to stay in that nasty energy. Now, I'm going to go back there because I get pissed. Absolutely. You can look for it. You can look for a pissed off video in the future. I'm going to go back there because I'm real. That's real. It wouldn't be real if we didn't ever go there. But nothing but love in my heart. Nothing but love in my heart for others and for their healing. Because I understand how much fucking suffering is on this earth. Even the people who have hurt us have suffered immensely. They are carrying ungodly amounts of pain inside. And it's their responsibility to go get some help.